Taco Bell, baby. That's what I'm talking about. We're gonna get us some Taco Bell here.
Hi, how can I help you?
Howdy, I had an online order for Big Sam.
You can pull on through.
Thank you. Mosin's and Taco Bell, folks. Ain't much better things in life. Howdy, folks. This is Big Sam. I'm super excited because we are doing yet another cool Mosin giveaway here on the channel. And I know, unfortunately, some of y'all are going to be a bit disappointed. This time around, no, we're not giving away Taco Bell gift cards, although maybe we'll do that in the future. This time around, we're going to be giving away a highly requested item. These are some original factory Mosin Nagant headspace gauges. And we have 3 we're going to be giving away, so 3 potential winners. So if this is something that interests you, stay tuned and figure out how to enter. So first of all, we're going to take a look at these guys here. Let me lower my camera a little bit. So what we actually have here is the headspace gauges, but they're actually in the wax paper, which is cool. And I'm going to go ahead and unwrap here at least one, so you can kind of get an idea of what's in here. So I guess we'll just kind of twist this off here. This looks like it's going to be a little bit nasty because it's got some, ooh. Yeah, I'm going to have to wash my hands after this one, folks. Got a little bit of cosmoline in there by the looks of it. But I want to get this guy over here so you can at least get an idea of what this thing is. Let me get my zoom here to work a little bit better and see if we can see some of the markings on this guy. So as far as I know, these are actually no-go gauges, in case you're wondering. So there's really 3 main types of headspace gauges, right? You have your go gauge, which if you can't close on a go gauge, that's a problem, because then you can't chamber, that basically means you can't chamber a cartridge. And then the no-go gauge is if you can close the bolt on a no-go gauge, that means it's kind of out of spec of what we would consider normal. Doesn't necessarily mean it's unsafe to shoot, but it also doesn't mean it's safe to shoot. If it closes on a no-go gauge, the next thing you want to do is then have a field gauge, which we don't have here, unfortunately. But generally, if I can only have one gauge, I would prefer to have a no-go gauge, because if you're just checking headspace, if it doesn't close on a no-go gauge, that generally means headspace is okay. But again, and I'm going to have this warning, because I don't want to ever get sued, and I don't ever want any of y'all to get injured. Just because if you win these and your rifle doesn't close on these, that doesn't mean your rifle is safe to shoot. There's a lot of other factors potentially that can cause a gun to be unsafe to shoot besides headspace. So I'm really just kind of giving these away as a collectible. So a disclaimer there, always have a gunsmith inspect your rifle before you go shoot it. But anyway, what I'm going to do now is go ahead and get this guy cleaned up a little bit so then we can have a look at some of the markings. Alrighty, so I haven't totally cleaned it off because I know whoever wins this probably is going to enjoy having to deal with all of this cosmoline. Let me get this into focus. But I was able to get some of the markings here visible. So, as you can see here, got a couple things. Hang on, let me find my pointer. There we go. Okay. Let me get back into focus here. Okay, so we can see here it's a 1,778. Now that's not 1,778. That should be 1.778. That should be a measurement. Now generally in Europe, they abbreviate instead of a dot for like a well, I'm a software engineer, so I say floating point, but I guess that would be a decimal. And anyway, it would be 1,778, 1.778, same thing. And then we see an interesting, I guess this is a manufacturer logo or something here. It almost looks like a K. You can kind of see it there. in this weird, like it kind of looks like a G shape there, almost. See that? And then we have the year 46. So this would be a post-war gauge. And that's pretty common. Most of these you see are post-war. The wartime ones are very uncommon to find. And then we see here some other letters that I'm not necessarily as familiar with, but when I see this right here, this is H-E as in he. In Russian, this is basically a negation term, nye. So this, I believe this means this is either a no-go gauge or a field gauge, if you see that. And then to figure out which one it is, you have to look at this number. Case in point, I'm going to set this guy aside here. Here's some other original gauges that we've actually featured here on the channel before. In one of our past videos, I know we were head spacing a 1907 carbine. Now, in this particular case, we can see these gauges do look a little bit different. And you might be wondering, why do these have like a bottle shaped versus this one, which doesn't? And I'm not exactly sure why. Now, a follow-up question is, well, maybe we don't know why, but does it matter? And the answer is it really shouldn't, because the headspace of the Mosin Nagant, at least for the 7.62x54 rimmed cartridge, because it's a rimmed cartridge, it headspaces on the rim, so back here should really be the only thing that matters. If it headspaced on the neck, I think this would probably be a problem. But since it headspaces on the rim, I think it doesn't really matter the shape. But anyway, let me go back to here and I can show you this. So again, we see the same thing here. And this one I've already, through a lot of verification, this is absolutely a no-go gauge. And we can see the same thing here. We can see 1.778 nye right there. And then this one is actually from 1945. These ones we got a while back from Ukraine. And then this guy also says nye, but this one is 1.905. This is what we would call a field gauge. If your rifle closes on this, like the bolt fully closes with this in like the chamber area, do not ever shoot any rifle where you can fully close the bolt on a field gauge, folks. That is scary stuff. And it's always generally a good idea to not shoot it if you can close on a no-go gauge, just to be on the safe side. That's what I recommend. Again, I don't want to get sued and I don't want anybody to get injured. But generally a no-go gauge means it's out of spec of what is considered normal, or I guess acceptable from a military standard. So it's just like you're shooting something that's out of spec. That should inherently kind of indicate that guns are kind of inherently a little bit dangerous, right, for the shooter, because it's a little interesting how the physics work. So I just don't really recommend shooting anything that closes on a no-go gauge, although some people do. I wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, we are giving away 3 no-go gauges from 1946, and these are real original Russian gauges. Really cool. These are pretty hard to get your hands on, which is why I've had a lot of people request these. You can find some gauges for a 7.62x54R. They're not super common, although you can get them, but military gauges are very uncommon, and they're in pretty high demand. A lot of people like these both as a collectible, and they actually like using these to check their rifles out. So if you guys are interested, you're going to want to enter this giveaway. Now you might be asking, well, Big Sam, how do we enter this giveaway? And that's a really good question. So what we're actually going to be doing this time around is a little bit different from the norm. So for some of our more seasoned viewers of the channel, originally the way you would enter a giveaway, we would just have you enter a comment in the video. We won't be doing this time around. Now the last giveaway we did, I had y'all send an email out to, I think it was Mosin giveaways. We're not going to be doing that either. We're kind of streamlining the process to make it a little bit easier for y'all and a lot easier for me as well. What we're going to be doing is actually having y'all go through our website, mosinmuseum.com, And in the top right, when you hit that little menu button, you're going to see the an option on the like the little pop-out menu that says giveaways. Okay, and you're going to click on that rascal, and then what's going to happen is you're going to have like a field where you can go fill out your information, put your name and then your address, and then you can hit submit, and then you should get a confirmation email saying, hey, thank you for entering this giveaway. So that's what we're going to be doing this time around. This is the first time we're trying it, so I think I have everything set up to handle this properly. If not, I'll make a follow-up video saying, hey, I missed something and I had to go redo this, and maybe worst case, if you entered, you may just have to re-enter, but I think it should be working okay. So stay tuned, guys. If you do need to re-enter something, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss an episode, because I really don't want you guys to miss out on this pretty uncommon opportunity to win a really neat headspace gauge. And for our international viewers, I do believe these are fine to ship internationally, given that I've actually gotten these from the Ukraine before. So yeah, definitely go ahead and enter regardless of where you live. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're really excited about this giveaway. I'm not exactly sure when we're going to be doing it. I guess we're probably going to be doing it around a Valentine's Day. I think seems like the appropriate time. So give people 2 or 3 weeks, something like that. So for now, we're going to say Valentine's Day, which is February 14th for those like me who are single for, well, let's face it, look at this, many reasons. This is one of them. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And if you guys like this, please consider subscribing. Let me know if y'all have any prayer requests. And we'll see you next time.